Hello and welcome to the Let's Talk People Development Podcast. I am Danny Gray and I'm here with...
Luke.
Luke. I like it. I don't know why I said my surname. I don't know what compelled me to do that. Anyway, today we are talking about making December count. That's what the subject's all about. And as we find ourselves a couple of days into the month already, this is all about how we can all stop, reflect, think about how we make sure the next couple of weeks are adding maximum value. Is that your thinking, Luke?
Yeah, for sure. And we talk about this all the time. It's been a big part of the last couple of years when it comes to the development of the people that we get to share rooms with. And it all starts with how we show up. And I think it'd be great to unpack that in a more everyday sense in terms of our attitude, our behaviors, but what drives all of those things? Well, it's all driven by, our thinking and driven by the words that we use and choose to use every single day. And I think then there's a real strong connection to December. And I think there's a trap you can fall into, or there's a way that you can break the norm. And I think that's what I'm excited about exploring today. In fact, if nothing else, selfishly, it's a great time for me to make sure that I myself am set up to sort of deliver on my own expectations for myself in the month of December.
Yeah, it's funny because ever since we spoke about this subject, or you spoke about this subject being the topic for today's podcast, my immediate thoughts were around, what do I do now? Because I coin the phrase often, and what we do today won't get us to where we need to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
For my thinking, it was, what do I do in December to make sure that January's epic?
Yes.
So I can do an awful lot of thinking, work, activity, whatever it may be, but it's almost, for me, it's in service of making sure that January is the best it can possibly be.
Which often, if you look at all of the things that we will surround ourselves by, social medias, the media in general, people that we can surround ourselves by, as a bit of a cliche about January. And therefore, your ability for those people, I guess, that choose to not fit into what can sometimes be that societal norm of the doom of January, there's ways in which you can navigate that. And I totally agree with you. That doesn't start on the 1st of January with a load of resolutions, which are fantastic things. It can start now because you'll be more ready, because you won't be trying to get up to speed. You'll almost be at the speed that you choose. And, I'm always careful with my words, Danny. You know me, I'm a little bit obsessed by that. Up to speed. I'm not one of those for the old, you've got to always be in 6th gear. Rubbish. Total rubbish. Whoever told you that, it's a lie. It's, you got to be in whatever gear you're at in any given time, right? Because, and deliver against what you're able to deliver on any given day. But it does fundamentally, take a step back from December. It comes down to actually daily, weekly, monthly habits beyond this month, and then how we make this month perhaps it become more aware of it, because you've got more things, and I think this is the most important part for me, Danny. You've got more challenges that you'll face to draw you away from the focus and the goals that you set for yourself day to day. And I'm not talking big life goals. I am talking about those daily goals. Celebrations. You've got work parties. You've got more time with family. You've got shopping to do potentially. More traveling often happens in that same month. So you've got a normal month plus. And therefore it's even harder than it is on a day-to-day basis. Is that making sense?
Yeah, definitely. It does. It is, because I so see your point there. Your social calendar is for most people, one of the busiest months will be December.
Yeah.
So from a commitments perspective, there's more to just do. I mean, you described there, I mean, even your grocery shop is normally a bit bigger in December, isn't it, than any other time of year. So you got more stuff to try and squeeze into your cupboards. But also, and my thoughts as you're talking about that, there's a mental shift often in the fact of a winding down for Christmas type stuff that also happens. And therefore, you kind of can, what's the right word? Almost like concede to the fact, well, it's Christmas, so which is great, right? I mean, we're all for it. In fact, we talk about the importance of rest and stopping and recuperating and all that sort of stuff. So we're not detracting from that. But what it is about is saying, right, you've got a couple of weeks, really, in December. There's not much, is there? I mean, and especially this year, it's really tricky in the way that Christmas falls. You got a few weeks that you're going to probably try and fit 4 weeks worth of work in. And if it was a bit more focused, could really set you up for success in some sort of way for January, trying to get you out ahead, if you like.
Yeah.
Or make January good, better, I don't know, whatever you want to try and achieve. It's worth investing, as we're doing now, a little bit of time into thinking what that might be like.
Exactly. 3rd of December, still plenty of time, albeit a shorter month ahead. I think you're absolutely right. And let's apply it then to what we talk about every single day. It's about how we show up. Covey's 7 habits. First one, proactivity. We've got that adapted framework where we focus first and foremost right at the center, not on concern, but control. What can we control? Outside of that, we've got what can we influence? And then outside of that third layer is some the bits that we have no influence or control over. And every time that we do this, we get to share that moment with our learners where they go, well, first and foremost, the first thing that we can control is how we show up every single day. And that's no different to now. But if we think about that and how that then spirals, well, a Monday can be different to a Friday. A morning can be different to an afternoon. A month of July, as you're approaching a holiday, can be different to the month of January. And we kind of explore that, don't we, about the ever-changing world around us, cyclical changes, seasonal changes. Then you've got the intrusion of workloads and time pressures that will always just be a daily battle. And being aware of all of those things and being able to manage them within the times that work at best for us and plan for them and be as prepared as we can is critically important on a daily basis. Isn't that right?
For sure. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, you've only got to look at the simple things that can disrupt the most ordinary of days that causes it to be more challenging to get stuff done, let alone when you are ramping up your focus or activity and therefore needing, if you like, to be even more slicker in your thinking or whatever it may be. Those disruptions, those things that can get in the way will still be there. And it's about, well, what can I, to your point, what can I control in this situation? What can I influence and what can I actually do nothing about? And therefore, I'm going to move on from it. I'm going to get on with it to make sure we get the right outcome. I mean, just take it. Typically, we record these podcasts a little bit before they go out. The weather. We've seen the wintry weather starting to encroach across the country, for example. That's just another headache, isn't it? It's another thing that's getting in the way of, delaying how long it takes to get to work or get your kids to school, or the kids' school's shut. So they've now got a problem with managing all those types of things. It's being able to separate yourself away, I think, in that Covey principle and go, right now, what can I control? What can I influence to get the best possible outcome with what I've got?
I think the weather's a great example, and I want to use one from this morning where I was just about to take Noah to school, and the reason that was a more quiet journey on the way to school is because for the 2 hours preceding us getting in the car, there was an absolute expectation that his head teacher was going to send an email to every parent to say school is cancelled because we've got a few flakes of snow on the ground. That has transformed Noah's day just from the words that he's used. Now, no, that would be great, right? But fundamentally, he was deflated going in. He's like, I just want to be out with my mates tearing it up, which I get.
Snow day. Snow day, right? That's what he wants.
Snow day, absolutely. But that is a great example of how we can or cannot be. You know, you start a week. I'm going to do the comparison between a week and between December. So let's just focus and work through the process together, Danny.
Yeah.
Thinking and words. Big week ahead, okay? And if I look at the week, and this is hypothetically speaking, I'm away for 3 nights, 3 big delivery days, 2 proposals to get out, team retros to get into the diary, which I still haven't got in. It's Monday morning, and I'm coming off the back of a weekend where it's been non-stop. I've been away, we've been socialising, there's been a few late nights. And I start that week with it's going to be a long week.
Yeah.
That is going to show up.
That's what you've programmed into your thinking before you started.
Correct. How many people do that? It might not be a Monday, it might not be the weekend. It might be reacting to how somebody has managed a certain situation, and therefore we can write off weeks just from those moments. I'm not saying that's easy to not do and just brush it off. I'm not saying be like Teflon. I'm just simply saying it happens. It happens to all of us. Now, if I was to go back even further than that, I probably should have started thinking about that big week a week before, and also knowing that I've got a busy weekend before it too. So, you know, arguably, away for 3 days, should I have been packing and getting my case packed for the following week, knowing I had a busy weekend, ready for Monday to go? I am so ready for this week, even though I'm probably not hitting the ground running, as they say. So that's just one example to start us off. Versus December, it's been a long year.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready for a rest. I'm ready to stop, catch a breath, all of those things.
For sure. And that's, I guess, we could do this as a generic episode without the December factor, but I think December has an even bigger bearing on us. I think your point is right. You know, everybody we speak to, you know, people are tired, but we could start the year really badly if we kind of get to December and go, right, we're slowing down from here. I'm not saying, therefore, you've got to, you know, sprint over the finishing line or any of those old cliche type statements. It doesn't need to be that. But if you have got a bit more time back, or if you have got things that you need to close out, do you choose to start going, I'm going to make this the best December I've had? Because by doing so, I'll be able to go into my break with friends, family, whoever you're spending it with, free from the niggles in the back of our mind, and also knowing that what I'm coming back to is deliberate. I designed it to come back that way.
Well, I wonder if it's almost this, what you're doing by doing that, or taking that approach as well, is you're limiting the December hangover in January, aren't you?
Yes.
So in other words, what you're trying to do is you're trying to walk in January without going, oh, I wish I'd got that done before the year is out. You know, I've got these loads of straggly jobs or tasks or activities that, you know, have been on my to-do list for half of last year. Now they're in this year already before we've even started. Whatever it may be, it's almost and it's funny, I had a conversation this morning about that very, very subject, which is let's finish everything that was supposed to be done this year.
Yeah.
So that we walk in next year almost with a clear slate. Now, you won't, because of the natural process of planning and looking ahead and all those things. So inevitably it's not clean, but it kind of, you're starting, if you like, new tasks in a new year, not doing a load of old tasks from an old year. Wouldn't that be great? Just have that feeling of like accomplishment. I close the year out. I've got all the little bits and pieces done that need to get done. Fresh start, new year. Let's get going.
100%. And to your point, you might not get it all done, but you're setting yourself up with that different mindset. Here's the mindset that you could apply.
Totally.
Just want to offer this up as that if we start with those thinking and words, how different do you see people operate when it comes to the pre-summer holiday? Or pre-holiday, not summer holiday, pre-holiday. That last 2 weeks, they think differently, they act differently, they behave differently. It's focused. No one's going to get in their way. No one's going to stop them. They are people on a mission. You can almost tell. You could probably walk down the street and see someone and go, I bet they're going on holiday in a week. Just look at the way that they just have that extra level. Yeah, does that always transfer to December? When, if people book their time off right, which most people do try and get a bit of extra time, you can have up to 2.5 to 3 weeks. The biggest holiday you're going to get all year. How can we make this our winter holiday thinking? How do we not just close out the year strong, but how do we go? December is the month where at the end of it, I get the biggest break, the biggest respite, the most time with the people that I love, the most time just not thinking about it, the quietest time really on a global scale in the main. And therefore, I should be deeply excited about what December brings and the type of person and mindset that I need to bring to that month. Just an idea as a starting point.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And as well, I'm thinking, while you're describing that, I'm thinking about, and hey, look, I've only met a few people, at this time of year, but I would say my experience of others, and certainly my experience of myself, so I can talk for my own benefit, is that's not typically how people are thinking in December. I'm not saying it's not how nobody's thinking, because somebody might be listening to this going, well, get lost, that's what I do. That's what he's just said, that's exactly what I do. But I would say my experience of people, my experience of myself and teams I've been a part of and all that stuff, is it doesn't have that, you describe the gravitas that somebody has when they're in, I'm going on a holiday and I'm determined to finish my to-do list mode type thinking. I know, mate, there's loads of factors, isn't there? The weather, cold, dark night, short days, all those things, you're going to have probably a bit of a nice relaxing few days at some point over Christmas, even if you're jaunting around seeing family somewhere in there, you're going to get 5 minutes. You're in that mindset. But again, I think that kind of almost is a false economy, that thinking, because we are going to get that December hangover in January, if that's how we do it. And I've done that. I've done that before.
Oh my God, 100%. And I'll probably have a few days this month where I'll creep into that. What I'm trying is something, a bit of different language this year. Consciously, I think I'm trying a bit of new language this year. I almost, you sort of false economy. So a little bit like a little lie that I tell to myself, because that lie then reverberates into 2025 as we sit here by saying to myself, right, I'm going to use December to kick back, take what comes, deliver what needs to be delivered, and just kind of get some of that back that I've lost throughout 2024. But by doing so and telling myself that lie that's going to be the best thing for me, I end up in January worse off anyway. I've robbed Peter to pay Paul. And I guess that's the bit that we've got to avoid. That's the bit that we've not got to fall into the trap of. That's the bit where I keep saying, make December count. We've kind of been saying make the last 10 weeks of the year count, but I feel even more impassioned to say to myself and to the team. And I think that's where we've got to switch it into that management and leadership hat for those that are listening as managers and leaders. It's the 3rd of December right now, as you might be listening to this, or a couple of days after, for those of you that are, raving fans and just can't wait for it to be released.
Yay, says somebody. Sorry.
Yeah. Get a meeting in with the next 24 to 48 hours, and it isn't about goal setting or what are we going to do to get the best out of December. Go, right, let's all fundamentally change the script on December. We're gonna go out and we're gonna celebrate and we're gonna have parties. That's on us and their choices that we make, and we deserve it. We've worked hard, but let's not also make that become part of rupturing the entire month. Let's switch from the mindset of, it's the end of a very, very long year and switch it to, let's end this year incredibly well, ensuring that we come into January incredibly prepared. Let's make this month our holiday month, the second holiday month of the year, whereby we're celebrating and getting ready for the longest holiday that we all get to mutually share at the same time, which is the quietest period ever. So let's make sure we enjoy it. I mean, I'm just rattling it off now, Danny. Is that making any sense in terms of some of those affirmations?
It makes complete sense because, yeah, it does. It does make sense. And also, I'll tell you what I'm thinking as well, because you said earlier on about like the little lie you might tell yourself about, I'll do this and the other. I only today was just doing a bit of stuff around activities we're doing next in January, and I was saying to myself, convincing myself that. It was like, right, okay, well, actually, if a few of these things don't start till then, that's not the end of the world, because the first couple of weeks of January is already, normally a bit quieter. But I know the week commencing the 6th of January, so the first proper week, I've already got 3.5 days occupied on activities. So having this kind of convincing myself that there'll be some time spare, we're not even anywhere near it yet, and it's already looking pretty full. So therefore, I've convinced myself of something that doesn't even exist. Now imagine it the other way around. Play a different dialogue. You have no time in January.
Yeah.
Therefore,
love that.
What you don't get done in December isn't getting done.
Yes.
And now look at how that changes the narrative inside your mind to go, if it's not done in December, it's not getting done at all. How does that make you feel? Well, this stuff's got to be done. Okay, well, that's telling you something, right? That's drawing your attention to what matters, what's important, where the focus should be, where your attention should be.
And also, back to the point, if you're not going to get it all done in December because you've simply analysed it and said, I haven't got enough time, that's when you speak to the people around you, because they still needs to get done. So
Yeah.
Without getting into productivity and how you manage that time and you delegate, but you got to get, you kind of raises the expectation on that, where you are asking, but you're asking but this does need to be done by the end of December. I'm not saying don't be forgiving of yourself and those around you. All the years are long, right? And if you've had a particularly long year, I get it. But I don't believe actually that giving yourself December as the month to recoup will make you feel any better in December. You're just delaying the inevitable, what January comes. And to your point, which I absolutely love, Danny, will be the next thing that we'll all be talking about following the quiet, the long year, is what is it? January Blues Day will start circulating again somewhere about the third Monday of January.
Yes.
And then guess what comes out? Where's January gone? Or even
That's
better,
right.
Where's this year going already? And,
That's right.
And I guess
You'll hear it.
To the best of our ability, I know I'm going to shut up now and close out there and hand it over to you, Danny, but let's not be part of some of those narratives that constantly happen year in, year out. In fact, make the next 3 weeks count of the year to ensure that you enjoy the start of next year. Not have the best year you've ever had. Not all of that. Some, stretch mentality to the point where you're like, oh my God, it's exhausting. I'm just simply saying, enjoy both. Instead of burning the candle in one and maybe struggling in the other. Enjoy both December and January.
Yeah, it's that Robin Peters to pay Paul, isn't it? I think my summary of this then is that it would be really easy, and actually you said it there, Luke, because you said, I'm not saying that, you shouldn't be enjoying the festive, because we're all for that, right? We're both all for the, enjoying opportunities when they come along. And I would say often, cut yourself some slack. That's what you say, cut yourself some slack, life's too short, all that cliche stuff that we could talk about. But what about this? Cut yourself some slack on January.
Yeah.
By thinking differently in December. So by approaching the next couple of weeks differently, by how you show up and setting yourself up for success, do so through the lens that what I do now is going to make my January a little bit easier. And therefore, I'm not going to fall into the trap of saying, where's January gone? Can't believe it's February already. What happened to that month? I'm not going to allow that to be the case, because I'm going to make the change today, and I'm going to savor every benefit from it in January. And I'm gonna pat myself on the back for a job well done.
Well said, my friend. Well said. The end to another great conversation. Great subject. And we've got one more in 2024 to enjoy together yet. So thank you as always.
Yes, we have.
Thank you to those listening, and enjoy the December month and everything that you, I am sure, will bring to it. Take care.
For sure. Thanks, Luke. Bye all.